Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. If you are anything like me, you spend a ridiculous amount of time procrastinating about watches, wondering what one watch, two watch, five watch collection would be perfect. And sometimes you think you got it right, and then you remember you have another watch in the collection that you could just not live without. And sometimes you're in the subway and you see somebody wearing a watch that is not in your collection, and you're thinking, well, that's because it's probably their only watch, so they were okay to probably pay the premium to get that one perfect Rolex, and they must be so happy having found that one watch. And I can't really add it because it makes no sense for me paying any premium while I can get other watches, maybe better watches, without paying a premium, and so on and so forth. And I've done very complex Excel sheets trying to determine what do I need in a perfect watch and what would it be. And no, this one is a bit too large. No, this one is missing the running seconds, and this and that. And at the end of the day, I can tell you that to me, if I had to have just one, it would probably have to be a Rolex, because they're just so usable all the time. But at the same time, a Rolex like a black Submariner, or my Sea Dweller, which indeed is perfect for anything, can be a bit sad and a bit too common. And you're thinking, well, I know so many things about watches. I've collected so many different pieces. I gotta have something more interesting. So you're thinking, okay, maybe a more interesting Rolex. To cut the long story short, I'm thinking, if knowing everything I know about watches, what I like, and if I had to have just one, make my life easy, have a good watch, but that uh, I can wear all the time in all situations, including traveling, I boil it down to buying a Submariner, maybe the Bluesy, to have a bit of gold, something a bit dressier but still very usable, and have the rotating bezel to time things, which would replace a chronograph. Or it would be um, the Kermit, or maybe even go back to getting the green Submariner, which, when I had a chance to buy it, I didn't really like. But I do like the one with just the green bezel, especially the new version that has a lighter shade of green. I kind of like it. It looks a bit more like the early one, the early Kermit, and brings it all together. So you have a bit of that flair. You have a very usable watch. It's a quality watch. You can use it everywhere. Still fairly discreet, more than the Bluesy, but I would not buy it right now because I have so many other watches. It would not be different enough from my Sea Dweller. Can my Sea Dweller be the only one? I don't know. It's beautiful, but at the same time, well, it's black, right? I think it's special because it is a Sea Dweller rather than a Submariner, and there's just beautiful play with the light. I guess if I need just one for the apocalypse, this is the one, because you get the date without the, some people find ugly Cyclops. Doesn't really bother me, the Cyclops, but it's great to have it without, and it looks different with a full graduation. So if I have anything close to a perfect watch, it could be this, although I, most of the time, I can wear something a bit dressier, and that's why I think, to me, a Datejust is more appropriate, because I work in an office, and it's still very rugged. It can handle the water, so maybe a two-tone Datejust 2 with a very cool dial that brings something very very special, or the perfect Datejust 41, more slender, with a Wimbledon dial, which ties in with my passion for playing tennis. And you get the Easy Link as well. Here you have, of course, the Glide Lock, and it's a great watch. And I'll tell you what, though, when I go these days on a trip, I just wear my Tudor Black Bay 54, super slim. I know it's not gonna catch on any luggage, any door frame, or if it does, it doesn't really matter. It won't catch on any of the kids' faces because it's very slim. And I've put it on this strap, and I really love how flat it is. And sometimes when I wear this, I'm thinking, well, they've really, everything came full circle, right? It started with this in 1953, and Tudor went through all those Submariners, all those Black Bays, and now they have the facility to build something like this for $4,000, and it's perfect. It's back to this original size, and it's gorgeous. Though it doesn't have a date, and I like to have a date. And of course, make your life easy, I could just have the Explorer. But yeah, as I said, I know more and I want more, and I've had to have everything else, and I love Seiko, and Grand Seiko is the best of Seiko, and this Grand Seiko is the best of everything they wanted to achieve, and I love it. And my son loves it as well, and he's seen those watches, and he hopes that I will keep them forever, and I can't disappoint him now. So I just went too far down the rabbit hole, and I'm sure many of you come out of those 2-3 years of COVID lockdowns with a big collections. And yeah, times are tough, I think, for many people. Markets are going down, and selling watches is not going to be easy. It's easy to buy them, won't be easy to sell them at the moment. If you can hold on to them, hold on to them. These are the ones that I really love the most, and and yeah, one of the reasons why maybe I don't have the one perfect watch is because I wanted different things, and maybe a bit in a too segmented way. I wanted to have the Patek Calatrava, then I wanted to have the one with the micro rotor. So now I end up with two of them, both that I like. I had to have an alternative shape, so I have a Cartier, but I could not wear that really every day. You gotta have an integrated steel sport, so I went for the AP, which also fills the function of the annual calendar in a very playful way, and I like how these two connect together. So now I have a sort of a sub collection within the collection that I will hopefully complement with a 1921 Vacheron Constantin, which also have a bit of a subsecond like this. And that's how you go down the rabbit hole. And then I wanted to have a great chronograph. Of course, missing in here is my Speedmaster, which I wear at home all the time, play tennis, I sleep with the Speedmaster on. But I wanted to have also a more refined chronograph with the tri-compacts and a beautifully beveled lugs, strong lug profile, and there you go. I had to have the Omega Museum number 8. It fills that gap. And yeah, I'd love to have a super complication Patek, but at the same time, those are manual wines, and it's a lot of money, of course, and it's a lot of responsibility to have a watch like that. So for me, this is it. But there you go. And now I have two rose gold watches, and of course you gotta have a 2 time zone watch. They're cool, but GMT is not enough for me. I wanted to have the world timer, and this is a great one watch as well. And you can travel with it. It is the Luc Chopard. It's a chronometer, by the way. Traveler 1, Time Traveler 1. I love that it has a bit of color, not too much, just beautiful. And I started my journey buying a Longines Legend Diver, and I get those 2 crown look. So quite a step up to the beautiful Luc Chopard. And this is how I end up with this big collection. Any one of these watches I'd be lucky to have. And if you had asked me 6 years ago and told me any of these would be your one watch, I would have jumped. I would have been so happy, because they're all perfect in what they do. But is there one of them that's the one, knowing everything I know now, the one that I would keep, or that I would buy if I didn't have anything? I'm not sure. As I said, I think Submariner is perfect. I like the one with a bit of flourish, like the green bezel, or like the two-tone bluesy. That's what I told Paul Plutin, when I met him, Archie Luxury in Hong Kong. He was wearing that watch, and after the unfortunate events of the burglary. That's the first watch he wanted to buy because it's a perfect watch. It does everything. You can't really do everything you do with a Rolex with a Patek Calatrava. And you can try and really put it through its paces. They're not they're more fragile, but not as that fragile. But to me, I think I also thought about the Vacheron Constantin overseas, but the new third generation, I think it's way too big. Even the time only is way too big for me. Too bad because they give you a great package. But if you go back to the second generation, I really love the chronograph, and that could be a great one watch as well. There's no adjustment in the bracelet though, and at the end of the day, we talk about those integrated bracelets, but to me, a Rolex has to be worn with the bracelet. I've never removed the bracelet from a Rolex, and to me, it is an integral part of the watch. So to me, it is integrated just as much as the bracelet of the Royal Oak. You couldn't imagine this watch without its Jubilee bracelet, and it completes the look, and it is the best bracelet in the business, much better than what you find on a Nautilus or an Audemars Piguet, and it doesn't cost a fortune. And you might say, yeah, why don't you go Date 8? But Date 8 doesn't have the adjustment. Most of them don't have the loom. And of course, it's a lot of money to have on the wrist, and it's a bit of a liability risk. So I prefer the Datejust, and yeah, in a way, Datejust, you might say, in a first world country, it's not maybe the CEO's watch. Well, I'm not the CEO, but to me, it's just if you have the right dial, the one that you want, it is a great watch. So yeah, let me know a bit in the comment which one watch, knowing everything you know about watches, everything you've enjoyed, which one watch would you buy? Because that's also an important thing, is that you need to try a lot of things, you need to see a lot of things, and I was lucky to be able to review many watches and handle them. And I can tell you, for example, the Yachtmaster on the Oyster Flex is another great watch that could be my perfect one watch. It's a bi-rotating bezel. It's a bit easier because I'm not really diving, so I don't really need the real diver bezel. It has a bit more flourish, and those Oyster Flex are really comfortable. Or just a simple, simple Yachtmaster, with maybe two-tone blue dial. Yachtmaster is indeed a perfect watch, and I think that's what Rolex wanted to do. They wanted to give something a bit less sporty, but still usable enough, because at the end of the day, all Rolex are an oyster, right? And they all have the same quality. And that's what they wanted to achieve with the Yachtmaster. And there you go. I'm thinking again in my train of thought, maybe if I had nothing, a Yachtmaster, because you can get a platinum bezel or a gold bezel, you can get a two-tone, and they're a bit less known, they're a bit more under the radar. That might be maybe the conclusion, maybe the Yachtmaster or the Submariner, but the Submariner is so ubiquitous. There you go, I'm again thinking, rolling the ball and perpetually in my head, and I'm sure in the evening I will think of something else, and I'm sure many of you guys are like me, but right now the one I enjoy the most is definitely the Patek Micro Rotor, because you gotta have that in your life, otherwise how can you how can you live, right? You also have to be able to say, well, I've enjoyed it, and then I said goodbye. I said goodbye to my manual one Patek, and it allowed me to fund the Micro Rotor. It's all part of the fun, all part of the journey, but sometimes you're just thinking, I'm spending way too much time thinking about watches. Let me know, guys, how you unpack everything I've just said today. Bye bye.